Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be discussing some decent value bets against the spread in college basketball for January 24th, 2017. Found some nice results yesterday from the games that we talked about in our video. And also over on our main site, our free pick winner came through with Georgia Southern covering the spread. Our free pick winners over at our main site have really been doing well lately, going 6-1 against the spread over the past week. Those are just our one-unit bets over there. If you're interested in checking those out on a daily basis, you can head on over to our main site, stumpthespread.com, by clicking in the logo in the top right-hand corner of this video if you're on desktop. And we'll also link Stump the Spread in the video description if you're interested in accessing us through that means. In today's video, we got about 6 games that we want to discuss, and I'll also put those in the video description if you're interested in what games I'm going to be talking about here. And if you're interested in getting more of this pick video content in the future, you can click that subscribe button, and also if you can click the thumbs up on this video, it really helps us out and is greatly appreciated. The first game that I want to talk about in today's video is going to be over in the Big Ten between Purdue and Michigan State. Purdue has been playing some solid ball within the Big Ten, but the Boilermakers have had the luxury of really facing a home-heavy slate thus far, with 5 of the first 7 conference games coming in West Lafayette. Purdue will head out on the road this week to get some tough, difficult matchups in tough environments against teams like Michigan State and Nebraska. In their last outing, Purdue dominated at home yet again, beating Penn State by a final of 77-52. Purdue has shown that they have one of the better defenses in the Big Ten, paired with an offense that has a pretty high ceiling when playing up to their potential, ranking 24th in the nation in scoring average as well as 51st in total defense. Purdue is one of those teams that when they're playing up to their ceiling, they can beat anyone in the nation, but they've also been susceptible to having some head-scratching results. A couple results back during the non-conference weren't so great for Purdue. And then, for instance, in conference play, the Boilermakers had a not-so-great loss at home against Minnesota in a game that you'd really expect the Boilermakers to come through. And also, on the road, one of their road matchups, Purdue fell at Iowa in another game that you'd really expect the Boilermakers to pick up, as Iowa is not one of the upper-tier teams in the conference, but Purdue's getting another tough test here on the road and will really get a chance to test themselves against a Michigan State squad that's pretty hungry for another resume-building win. This Michigan State squad, just the pedigree of their program under Coach Izzo has helped them stay in the conversation as an at-large bid team to the NCAA tournament, as well as a really challenging non-conference slate, even though the Spartans didn't find all that much success against their non-conference slate. Michigan State has started fading back a little bit recently, losing 3 of their last 4, but those 3 defeats did come on the road in competitive matchups. In their last outing, Michigan State came up just short, losing at Indiana by a final of 75-82. In their last home game, however, Michigan State was really solid, getting by Minnesota by a final of 65-47 in what was a great defensive effort there for the Spartans. And Michigan State really tends to crank things up on the defensive side of the ball behind their enthusiastic home crowd. Michigan State has been utilizing their home court advantage well thus far in conference, and Michigan State knows they need to continue to rack up resume-building wins at home if they want to stay in a positive light as an at-large team to the NCAA tournament. Purdue has been a bit streaky in Big Ten play at times, but it'll be interesting to see what the Boilermakers bring in this upcoming week on the road. We do like Michigan State to perform here behind their home court advantage as they make this one competitive and go on to push for the upset and cover this spread here as a pretty solid value bet. All right, the next game I want to touch on is over in the Big 12 between Kansas and West Virginia. Kansas has been riding an 18-game winning streak after opening the year with a overtime loss against Indiana. Kansas hasn't really been beating teams in the Big 12 in convincing fashion, but the important stat for the Jayhawks is that they are 7-0 in the Big 12 thus far. In their last outing, Kansas had a tough time completely pulling away from Texas as the Jayhawks went on to pick up the win at home by a final of 79-67. Kansas has actually faced a more manageable conference slate up to this point, and things start to really get tough for the Jayhawks over the coming month, and we're really going to figure out what kind of team Kansas really is here over the next month of play. West Virginia competed hard in their last outing on the road, but they came up just short against Kansas State, losing by 4 points. West Virginia has been spinning their tires a bit over the last week, losing to Oklahoma and then in their last outing against Kansas State. Perhaps these defeats will ignite West Virginia and get them to play more like we saw recently in their 21-point home win against Baylor. West Virginia has really shown a high ceiling this year when they're playing up to their highest potential. For instance, their really strong win on the road against Virginia back during the non-conference, and also their blowout against Baylor were very impressive results and really elite resume-building wins there for West Virginia. Kansas has faced more of a manageable slate in the Big 12, as really any team could face through their first 7 games, but things really ramp up now with upcoming tests against West Virginia and Baylor, and also Kansas will be going against Kentucky here pretty soon. West Virginia has a tremendous home court advantage, and we do like the Mountaineers to come out and really play with some extra passion today as they try to break out of their recent losing streak, as they go and really play off the energy and enthusiasm of their crowd as they go on to win and cover this manageable spread here. All right, next game that we want to talk about is going to be between Villanova and Marquette. Let's see if we can find that. Here it is, over in the Big East. The Villanova Wildcats have been a consistent performer throughout the regular season, as this veteran group stands an impressive 19-1 overall, as well as 7-1 in the very competitive Big East. Villanova came through in their last outing on the road, beating St. John's by a final of 70-57. And in their last outing at home, Villanova was able to come through against Providence, picking up that win by 10 points. Villanova is 4-1 on the road this season, with some of their better road wins coming against the likes of really strong teams in Purdue and Creighton. The Wildcats build off of their elite defense, as Villanova ranks 13th in the nation in points allowed compared to 68th in scoring average. Veteran guard Josh Hart has stepped up this year to lead the team, averaging over 19 points per game. And then the home team, we got the Marquette Golden Eagles, and they've been, kind of a tough team to peg down this season, in not even just in Big East play, but throughout the entire regular season. Marquette has been a bit up and down with their results. This group now stands 13-6 overall, as well as 4-3 in conference, and Marquette is another one of those teams that could use some more resume-building wins. When playing up to their ceiling, this can be a really dangerous unit, especially on the offensive end, but a glaring weakness for the Golden Eagles has been with their interior defense, as Marquette really doesn't have a lot of depth with their front line. In their last outing, Marquette picked up a great win on the road against Creighton, beating the Blue Jays by a final of 102-94. Marquette likes to push things on the offensive end, ranking 18th in the nation in scoring compared to 234th in total defense. The Golden Eagles do a great job of spreading the ball around, with 7 players averaging between 9 to 13 points per game. The potential big difference maker for Villanova coming into this tough road contest will be their significant edge on the defensive side of the ball. The Wildcats also have the players that can take advantage of Marquette's interior defense, and in what should be a pretty competitive game, we do like Villanova to pull away towards the end as they go on to win and cover the spread against the Golden Eagles. All right, a game that I want to touch on just really quickly between Penn State and Wisconsin. Penn State has shown the ability to compete with some of the better teams in the Big Ten this year, but this is a young squad, and going on the road against arguably the top team in the conference, we think that they're going to have some struggles here on the road against the Badgers. Penn State was blown out recently on the road by another solid Big Ten squad in Purdue, and we think that we could see a similar situation here. Penn State had a tough time cracking through that Purdue defense, and we think that Penn State's likely to have a tough time breaking through this Wisconsin defense. And Wisconsin has a tremendous home court advantage. We do like the Badgers to go on to win and cover this rather large spread here against what is a young and developing Penn State squad. Another game that I want to touch on pretty quickly here is over in the SEC between Kentucky and Tennessee. Kentucky, they've really shown well thus far in conference play, really picking up a lot of blowout wins, and Kentucky has been showing pretty well on the road in conference play. This is a Tennessee squad that's shown some nice progress throughout the year, but they've been a little bit hit or miss with their results. When Tennessee is playing up to their ceiling, they've been really showing some very impressive results this year, but we think that this Kentucky team is just going to overwhelm this Vols squad, and going on the road here, we do like Kentucky to come through as they go on to win and cover this 10-point spread. And just one more game that I want to talk about in today's video is going to be over in the Big 12 between Kansas State and Iowa State. Kansas State has been improving their tournament profile over the past week, picking up some great resume-building wins against Oklahoma State on the road and at home against West Virginia. K-State has shown to be very competitive in all sorts of situations in the Big 12 this year, even on the road. Kansas State was very competitive, losing at places like Kansas, Texas Tech, and games that really could have gone either way in what was a 1- and 2-point defeat respectively. And then also that win on the road against Oklahoma State was very good for the Wildcats. The Wildcats have been better than a lot of people were expecting coming into the year, as this group stands 15-4 overall and 4-3 in conference. Kansas State plays off of their defense, as the Wildcats rank 32nd in the nation in points allowed as well as 113th in scoring average. And then the home team in this one is Iowa State, and the Iowa State Cyclones picked up a much-needed win in their last outing as well, breaking their two-game losing streak to get past Oklahoma on the road by a final of 92-87 in what was yet again another competitive game in the Big 12. In their last game at home, Iowa State fell to Kansas by 4 points, and this one figures to be another tough battle here for the Cyclones today on their home court. Iowa State is also trying to continue to build on their at-large resume, standing 12-6 overall and 4-3 in conference. Veteran guard Monty Morris has been picking up his play, leading the team averaging just over 16 points per game, and the Cyclones have been solid on both ends of the court, ranking 32nd in the nation in scoring as well as 101st in total defense. Kansas knows they're in need of some more RPI-boosting wins to solidify their standing in the NCAA tournament, and the Wildcats have been impressive in what they've been able to do on the road thus far in conference play. We do like K-State to keep things competitive here as they go on to cover the spread at Iowa State in what should be a very close game. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up the games that I wanted to touch on in today's video for college basketball. Again, if you're interested, you can head on over to our main site, stumpthespread.com, to get our daily 1-unit free play. It's usually a college basketball play. And if you're over there, you can also upgrade to a premium membership to get all of our top confidence plays across all major American sports. Those would include well, the NFL pretty much wrapping up here, but also the NBA, NHL, as well as college basketball. And if you're looking to get more of this pick content in video format in the future, you can click that subscribe button. And also, if you click the thumbs up on this video, it's really greatly appreciated. So thanks, guys, for watching, and we'll see you in the next college basketball video. Bye.